Hi, everyone. I'm here with Dr. Robert Floyd. Thanks for being here, Doc.
Awesome, man. Love it. I love our conversations, and we never know which way they're going to go.
Well, this is going to be a good one because I'm getting so much emotion from talking about what's natural, what's not natural, who isn't natural, and so on. And it all comes down to the definition. So when I throw these videos out there, I get all kinds of definitions. And the first thing that I'll talk about is these guys that are jacked, where you know they're doing something.
Mhm.
I think their definition of natural is no anabolic steroids. That means everything else is on the table. That's TRT or testosterone. It's growth hormone. It's peptides. It's everything that's not anabolic steroids. And they say, well, I'm natural. Well, then you got the other side that gets equally irritated because their definition is protein powder is not natural. Your body doesn't make protein powder. Protein powder does not naturally occur in your body. So that's where you get the arguments. We were talking before we turned this on, low testosterone for guys in our age, I'm 63, is dangerous. It's not heart healthy to have low testosterone. So we're talking about what's cheating. And so many people, they'll go to their grave saying, I didn't cheat. And they die how many years younger and unhealthy because I'm not going to cheat. Well, what are you cheating at? Right?
Yeah, for sure. You bring up a good point. You're getting all these emotional responses. People are inflamed about everything. Right now we're living in this world of the butthurt Olympics. Who can be the most butthurt? Who can be the most offended? Right? It's kind of weird. One thing I will tell you is that when I do get my patients on TRT, I can't tell you how many of them have said to me, "Oh my God, doc, my emotions are much more stable," right? They're not up and down. They're not angry and depressed and then happy and then depressed and angry and then happy and then angry and then happy and depressed. TRT is super important for brain health and for your moods as well. And, maybe some people, the bottom line is like, we're living in an inflamed era of like, when I say that, I mean like socially, physically, metabolically, and even temperamentally. People are just inflamed. And so, I don't think that, TRT is cheating at all. If we we were talking earlier about if we have all this at our hands and we use it, why not use it to help promote longevity? Testosterone replacement therapy helps you live longer, healthier, period. Bottom line. As long as it's well monitored, administered by a doctor, and you checking labs over and over and over, and you don't abuse it. It's safe and it's totally.
Yeah. I mean, I get my lab work done every month, 2 months at the most. And it's, you want for instance, testosterone and all your hormones to be at a normal, healthy level. Well, it all diminishes as we get older. NAD diminishes, glutathione, all these things that help keep us young and healthy, they're at higher levels when we're younger. So why not keep them at a proper, healthy level? If you call that cheating, okay, it's cheating. I don't know what you're cheating at, but I'm cheating at being healthier. And why not, right?
Maybe we can call it we're cheating aging or cheating death, right? Yeah, hell yeah, I'm cheating. I want to cheat at aging and death. I don't want to grow physically older than I am if I don't have to. If I can decrease the acceleration of my aging, if I can slow it down, bring it on. Absolutely. You and I are both, I don't want to use the term biohackers, but we both have gone down the rabbit holes of like, hey, how can we be healthier? Well, we use peptides, we use TRT. Again, I'm going to say this 100 times. It's diet and lifestyle, nutrition, detox, sleep, stress reduction, all that stuff. Is doing that stuff cheating? Yeah, sure. Protein powder is, you can probably consider it an ultra processed food, right? I don't know. But, the less ultra processed food in life, the better. You will live longer. Ultra processed food has been linked to 30 different types of cancer and 30 different types of increased morbidity and mortality. So is, taking protein powder cheating? It might be, but guess what? The science shows we need a ton of protein that you just can't get enough of by eating, you know, you know, you'd have to eat 8 steaks a day to get enough protein.
Yeah, and I've talked about this, we've talked about this a lot, and because you mentioned something, that one of the first things that happens for people. I'm on TRT, and I had no symptoms, none at all, but, my testosterone was maybe 350. And now with a very small dosage, 90 milligrams a week, that's it. 30 on Monday, 30 on Wednesday, 30 on Friday puts me at about 1,000 for my testosterone. And my free testosterone with the supplements I take and my lifestyle is off the top of the top end. So, but you mentioned something about the mental thing. There's people that are moody and then they get on testosterone and they're not moody and they feel better. But again, if people think that this is some magic formula, they're wrong, because you talked about lifestyle. You need to eat more protein if you want to really get benefit from it. And are you going to turn into Hercules? No, it's not magic. Are you going to feel better? Yes. Are you going to be enhanced? Absolutely. I'm enhanced. I'm enhanced in a lot of ways. And people should not be ashamed to be enhanced. Why would you not want to be? But if you don't have those lifestyle factors dialed in, like your diet and your exercise, your resistance training, all the types of exercise you're doing, whether you're going for a walk or making a habit of going up the stairs when you're at a hotel, those are just little habits that can benefit. You have to do those right first. Get your sleep right. And if you don't, these tools really aren't going to do anything. It's like if I've got a screwdriver and there's no screw to screw in, then it's useless, So maybe that's a bad example, but you have
Yeah, but
to go ahead.
I understand what you're saying. Like, just getting on TRT, you're not going to all of a sudden drop 45 pounds and build a bunch of muscle. You have to do the work. You have to have, your diet and lifestyle dialed in. You have to have your stress reduction dialed in. You have to have your sleep dialed in. You got to lift weights. And that's another thing I tell people. Whenever I start my guys on TRT, I tell them, listen, you now have to start lifting. If they're not lifting, I say, you have to start lifting now, because muscle is the organ of longevity, right? TRT helps build muscle. TRT helps everything in your life. That's a very broad statement. I don't want someone to be like, he said TRT cures everything. That's not what I'm saying. But again, it does. Testosterone is a longevity hormone for both men and women. And again, if you're going to get on TRT, you have to have it done by a professional who knows what the hell they're doing, right? Someone who knows what labs to check, someone who knows the alternatives, risks, and benefits. I have to tell people, and I tell them straight up, if I put you on TRT, you will likely be on it for life. You're not going to be able to come off of it very easily, if at all, because once you start taking this TRT, your testicles stop producing it. Your whole pathways shut down. There's ways that we can try to do, quote, gonadal rescue, but it doesn't always work. So again, is it cheating? Yeah, I'm cheating age. Excuse me. I'm cheating aging. I'm cheating death, and I'm cool with that. Is my protein drink with creatine, a gut health powder, and timeline powder in it, is that cheating?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's cheating too.
Yeah. Okay, great. What are we cheating? We're cheating aging, and old man aging can suck it.
Yeah, and there's both sides get triggered. First, the guys that are doing all kinds of stuff that are our age. I'm in my 60s, and they get triggered because you got the couch potatoes telling them, oh, you just got like that because you're on gear, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. Oh my gosh, you want to see one of these guys just want to see their head pop off? Tell them that, because these guys are 2 hours in the gym, 5-6 days a week. Even at my age, hey, I'm in the gym for 2 hours, 5 days a week, and I'm not big. I don't have muscles on muscles. I'm just your average guy
I
that's
don't believe
fit.
that for a second, dude.
What?
You look pretty fit in that sweater, bro.
But 2 hours in the gym, that's what I put in. I eat near perfect. Yeah, my wife and I, we go out to dinner, but, and I've got good genetics, I guess, but I'm not this giant muscly guy. I'm thinner. Yeah, I have probably an athletic look, but all the things that I do and getting my blood work done every month, I mean, this is it. This is what I get. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not ready for a physique contest next week or anything, and I probably never will be. Well, I think they're dumb anyway. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but um, that's it. So they're not magic. So these guys that have great genetics, who are really big and muscular, they get triggered when you say that's why, because they're eating 200 grams of protein. They're counting their calories. They're counting their protein. They're in the gym for 2 hours. Of course, they're going to get triggered if some fat guy sitting on the couch tells them, oh, you're big and muscular because you're on gear or you're on TRT or you're using growth hormone. Of course, they're going to get triggered.
Yeah. There's different levels of quote cheating, right? And I mean, it's not like cheating is even the wrong word. It's just augmenting, supplementing. There's a lot of guys out there that do it incorrectly in a dangerous way, right? There's a lot of like these giant bodybuilders just drop dead of heart attacks because they're overdosing on testosterone. They're taking, an anastrozole, which is blocking the conversion to estradiol. So their estradiol is zero, which is, excuse me, estradiol and testosterone are both cardioprotective. But I mean, is it cheating to, put a weighted vest on and go for a run? I mean, what the hell is cheating, right? Like, is it cheating to like figure out what's the best way to lift to build muscle, right? I mean, sure, there are guys out there, quote, cheating, doing really like dumb stuff with the gear. They're not getting it from a doctor. They're getting it from their gym bro, right? Bad idea, right? They're not being tested. They're not checking their labs like you do every month. Most people can't afford to check their labs every month, but that's cool. It's again, you've inspired me to be more diligent about checking my labs over and over and over. So is it cheating? What constitutes cheating? Well, I don't think that, TRT should be considered cheating. I know a lot of guys. I started it when I was 50 something, 51, 52. I put it off for a long time. And the reason I started TRT was I don't think I was ever had a high normal value. And I did it for recovery, for jujitsu, for dirt biking, just overall, backcountry skiing. I did it for recovery so that I could do these sports that I love longer and at a higher level. If you want to call me a cheater, fine, whatever. Sure, I cheat. I'm on TRT. I do peptide stacks, I do protein and all my other little powder drinks and shit. So whatever. Call me a cheater. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I do a ton of peptides too. Now, if the logical definition, it's not my definition, but the logical definition of what these guys say is they're no gear, no anabolic steroids. Well, I'm natural. Then I can say I'm natural because I use no anabolics. No gear for me, none, and I won't use it. But a lot of the guys that are just on TRT saying they're natural, some of them are doing ridiculous dosages. 400 milligrams a week, 600 milligrams a week, some of them 700 milligrams of testosterone a week, growth hormone, exogenous growth hormone at 10 or 12 IUs a week.
Yeah.
That's absurd. To put that in perspective, some of these guys that are doing as high as 700 milligrams of testosterone a week, that is not TRT. That is not replacement.
No.
That will blow your testosterone levels out of the building if you do that. And put it in perspective, mine's 90 a week, not even 100 a week.
Yeah. And so, like, again, it goes back to getting back up to your testosterone levels at a physiological normal range, I would consider that not cheating, right? Yeah, sure. If you get it up to 2000, that's not a good idea, man. I mean, I'm telling you, you are going to have cardiac enlargement. You're going to have all sorts of issues with testosterone levels that high. You're really, really dancing on a fine line if you want to do that. But hey, you know what? I'm a libertarian. If you want to do that, go right ahead. Treat yourself. Do 700 a week. Doesn't matter. I don't care. But you're going to have to pay the piper one day.
Yeah, that's true. People, I believe, have the right to do whatever they want with their body, no matter how stupid it is, I guess. Uh, So it's the dosages that are ridiculous. People are going for that look to get so big and massive. And a lot of these bodybuilders that die, first of all, you look very abnormal. The guys that take the top 5 in the Olympia, not one of those guys is normal. They all are carrying 100 pounds more muscle on their body than their body wants to carry. Your body does not want to look like that. The bodybuilder does, the guy in the Olympia does, but your body does not like that. It's not normal. It's not natural. So, I mean, kind of a rabbit trail. Too much muscle can be unhealthy. Too much of anything is unhealthy. And the doses of these guys are taken, like the growth hormone and 12 IU, that's ridiculous. A
Yeah, I'm not even
replacement dosage of that is maybe 2 IUs.
yeah, I'm not even a big fan of growth hormone supplementation. It kind of scares me because, you know, that's a whole nother topic that we can discuss another time. So, but I got to bounce out here. I got a meeting I got to get to here in a little bit. But again, is getting your testosterone level back to a normal physiological level cheating? I don't think so. And, again, I'm a libertarian. You're a libertarian. You want to do it? Go for it. Have at it. But no, you are risking your literally life. So, a lot of these guys who are built that big, they look abnormal. They don't look like normal human beings. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's amazing what these guys can build. But I wouldn't want to look like these guys. And they do carry around way too much muscle. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Anything in excess is probably not good. But again, is it natural or not? That's the question, right?
Yeah, you're right. And so, Doc, if people want to get a hold of you or follow you on social media, how do they do that?
I got a couple channels, empowermentmd.com, empowermentmd.com. That's my website. Then Empowerment MD on Instagram, Facebook, and Robert Floyd MD on TikTok. And then also Degree Wellness in Reno, Nevada is a shop that we're going to be opening up here in April. So you can just Google Degree Wellness South Reno and it'll bring you right to the webpage.
All right. Always look forward to our little chats. Thanks for being with us, Doc, and we'll see you next time.
Super fun. Appreciate it, Steve. And go out there and keep kicking butt, man.